Bonjour, everyone. It is Sue, the French Texpat. It is Sunday morning, August 3rd, and this is my month of July budget recap. I tried to do it actually yesterday, but I messed up the audio and I could not fix it, so I'm just re-recording it today. And during this video, like right now, you might hear one of the dogs either lapping up water or eating one of their chew bones. So I'm not going to go to the intense effort to edit those out. So if you hear those, just know that they are happily doing whatever dogs want to do on a lazy Sunday afternoon. For them, it's lazy at least. So let's get going with this. Okay, so let's start out with fixed expenses. I've changed this a little bit so that items fall into categories that fit a little bit better in my head. So it does look a little bit different than June. And who knows, I might tweak it again next month. But I think this is a good format for now. I have it in dollars and euros. The euros for July, I set about middle of the month. And I think at that point in time, the conversion rate was 1.165. It's a little bit lower right now. It was a little bit higher at the beginning of July. But I'm just going to pick a middle of the month number and stick with that from now on, because otherwise these numbers are just going to go up and down as long as the US government keeps playing monkey shines with the administration and the budget and the treasury and all that kind of stuff. So let's get going. For living space, my total for my living space is 827 euros, or the equivalent right now is about 966, so a little under $1,000. That includes 700 for rent, and then the charges that I pay are approximately $47 US, 40 euros, and that includes my water, which is an estimation, my garbage, which is a fixed cost of 13 euros, and my internet, which is a fixed cost of 10 euros. I'm not quite sure how often the water gets assessed and recalibrated. I know that my landlord set my guesstimated usage based on the amount of previous usage, but since this flat was occupied by a couple, that might not be the same as me being a solo person. So maybe it'll go down. That would be fantastic. You also can see my electric. My actual usage here was 64 euros and 21 centimes. And that comes out to 87 as a subscription fixed rate for every month for year one. At the end of year one, they will look at all my usage and then, in my case, probably adjust it downwards, what they will charge me per month. I did go with the plan where it has a fixed cost throughout the year as opposed to actual usage month by month. I have no idea what this place is going to cost me in winter to heat, so I think this is a smart idea. In a way, it's kind of like money in the bank. My mobile phone. It's supposed to be a lot less than this, but my free bill this month was once again a lot higher than the 9 euros that it's supposed to be. And I figured out what has gone on wrong in June and in July. In reassessing the bill and analyzing it a lot further, I saw that in both months, calls that I made to the United States, mostly 800 numbers, and then some texts to people in the United States, were supposed to be automatically sent using my my US number. But I didn't change it before I made those phone calls or texts, and that's on me. I didn't realize that it wasn't automatic. For some people it was, and for some phone numbers it was. But clearly at some point in the past, I used Tello primarily, and then it will automatically default for that. But in the month of July and in the month of June, I had some calls that I had not made before I got here. And so they automatically defaulted to my European phone number, hence the extra charges. So I'm not thrilled about it, but now that I know what I did, I can avoid that in the future by being very mindful of switching to my Tello phone number and plan when I intend on contacting the United States. Bank service charges and renter's insurance charges are pretty much about the same. They're not going to change any month. I'll keep them in here just as a budgeting item. So that's what I'm trying to mentally put away per month for those. And that's it for fixed expenses. Let's move down to food and household. I budgeted about 400 euros per month for groceries, and I'm under that. I'm just under 350, so 340, 348. And groceries, that's about $400 per month, which is, again, pretty much, I think, what I was spending in the United States. I don't even remember at this point in time because the last couple of months I was trying to draw down storage that I had of food items in the cabinets and in the freezer and in the fridge. So it is what it is, but I'm very happy about that. So I'm going to keep that as the goal, 400 euros per month for food. For paper goods and cleaning supplies, I only needed to buy one bleach cleaner for my shower. Everything else, the landlord pre-stocked for me. So it's got a little bit of everything I could possibly need for cleaning products, which is fantastic. So at some point, I'll run those out. I will not be using any of the dishwasher stuff. The dishwasher, I've turned off the circuit for that because I will not be using the dishwasher. I haven't used one in approximately 15 years. So there's really no need for me to use it now, unless I throw some big shindig and I need to get a lot of stuff cleaned fast. So that's one thing that doesn't have to factor into my electric bill. Office supplies, I think I bought a stapler. That's about it, or maybe some glue. For dining out, I spent about 210 euros. I'm going to keep that as kind of like a guesstimate. I did do a lot of social events in July, and I think that it will be fairly similar for August, possibly September. Then it will slow down for October and at least the first part of November, but I think that this is a good guesstimate. And that's not bad for 4 weeks of having coffee and dessert or some lunches and going to a winery event and having a glass of wine. So that's not too bad. Miscellaneous household. These are still household startup purchases. Storage, linens, outdoor pillow covers, outdoor shade sail, and the posts that affix into the ground, the stakes to affix those poles into the ground, some outdoor LED twinkle lights for when I'm out there in the evening, a shoe cabinet, a coffee maker that makes coffee from any kind of pod or just regular old ground coffee, so that any of the supplies that I've had from here and also from my first month Airbnb and the fact that I like grinding my own coffee, I'll be able to pretty much have coffee whenever I want and be able to purchase the least expensive option at the time that I need new coffee. So I'm thrilled about that. I also bought an induction portable burner with 2 burners, induction pot and pan set, pretty minimal, just 2 pots, 2 saute pans. Let's see what else I bought. I bought the toaster oven. I bought the microwave grill. I bought, for outdoors, I bought a metal trimmer for the yard. The landlord did supply both myself and the next door neighbor resident, both of us have yards, with an electric lawnmower, but it doesn't get into the corners. And I don't really see any purpose for that because you still would have to go back with a trimmer. So I just bought one of those, and it takes just as much time, if not less time, to pretty much mow the yard and get into all the corners. I'm very thrilled about that. I also did probably a very American thing, and I bought a very small, compact leaf blower to get all that detritus off of the patio, and also it's very handy for the front foyer to get dirt out when the workmen who've been working here, but also upstairs, no matter what, you still drag in some stuff, and so do the dogs. So got that to easily blast that out. I have brooms here, but they have a combination of natural bristles and synthetic bristles, and the natural bristles just fall out. So then you're sweeping up bristles, and then it leaves more bristles, so it's just a total mess. So no, I'm not playing that game. I also bought a runner for the front hallway. It's a very long front hallway, and it's very echoey, and that just arrived yesterday, and I've got to say, it's fantastic because I noticed the difference in the sound profile almost immediately. I'll probably get a throw rug for an area rug, I guess I should say, for the bedroom during the winter time and possibly for the living room once winter sets in, because I do have tile floors. And that will not only, again, help the sound profile, but it will keep some heat in and make it a little bit more comfy for the doggos. They do love laying on all the different tile surfaces right now that it's hot out in the summer, but willing to bet that's not as much fun in the wintertime, right? I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple of other things there, but I did purchase a lot of startup appliances and consumables in the month of July. Pretty much done with that. I can't really see buying anything in August unless it's something I just completely forgot about and find the need once the need arises. And that's it for food household. Health. I didn't spend a dime on health items this month. I didn't need to. I have all the supplies of over-the-counter medications, Band-Aids, antibiotic ointment, rubbing alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, you name it. I pretty much had all of that. And so I just didn't need to purchase any. So that's kind of nice that I didn't need to do that yet. Transportation. Again, I'm not putting the rental car costs in here because those were all up front. I would like to be able to take that car back early, but I think that that's not really going to happen. It appears that, at least with Europe car, because I signed up for 3 months, they're going to charge me for the 3 months no matter what. So I can return it early, but I'm not going to get a refund. So there's no purpose in doing that. I'll just go and travel to some fun places that are a couple of hours away from here that would be easier to get to by car than by bus or by train. And we'll call that a wash. I did use the car for a couple of different events, both out of Albee and within Albee, mostly outside. And so these are all transportation costs for charging the vehicle to go to different places. I also purchased a bicycle, and that is another one-time cost. I bought a relatively entry level, I guess I would say, e-bike. I had a really nice one in the US, and I didn't use all the features. Plus, I really didn't want to spend the money like I did in the US, not knowing what it would be like handling on city streets with a lot of ruts and bumps and things like that. I'm very, very happy with it. It's kind of an off brand. I bought it off of Amazon. It's called Hitway, which of course isn't a name any of us probably would know unless we've been to China, which is where it's from. And a basket and some panniers and a mount for my phone so I can use it for directions when I'm going places. Bicycle helmet, locks. I think that's it. But not a bad investment when you think about it for what is going to become my primary transportation apart from walking. I'm already using it quite a bit. In fact, this morning I went to go to the grocery store to pick up some essentials, like I needed Kleenex and a couple of other things. But the grocery store I went to is closed on Sundays, and I didn't realize that. That same chain is open in Castle Naudry, where I was in June. So now I know, but it was a great bike ride. Can't complain about that. So moving down, we'll get to pet care. Nothing from ICAD or veterinary costs this month. I did get confirmation from ICAD, which is the federal registration system for the government of France, that the dogs are registered, and they sent me my cards that they used to send in the mail. Now they send them electronically. So I need to actually purchase some of those laminated cases for cards so I can print those off and put those in those cards and then keep it in my wallet in case I should ever need it. Dog food, and then treats and other. Most of the other, I did purchase a no bark vibrating collar for Obi. I also purchased a dog cam to use when I am not here for a significant period of time so that I can pay attention to see what they're doing. And if they are barking in real time, I can tell them to shut up, which is kind of fun. I did that once and it was pretty comical. Wish I'd been able to record it at the same time, but I don't know how to do that yet. I'm sure I'll figure it out. I can probably just download it from the device, right? Let's see, what else did I purchase for them? Something else, and I can't remember what it is. But at any rate, it's another one-off type of month for that. This month, August, moving forward, it'll pretty much just be treats and food. Entertainments and gifts. I do have an Apple TV subscription, and that comes out to about €9 or $11 per month. I have a subscription, electronic newspaper subscription to Le Monde. That will not be due until February or March. I did pay about $7 for stars in June and $8 for peacock in July for specific reasons. And again, I won't be purchasing those again unless I absolutely need to watch something else. Well, next summer, of course, for Tour de France, because I do like the coverage from the NBC guys. In sports, leisure, outdoor, and entertainment, those are some ticket costs for some concerts. Also went on a boat trip down the Tarn River, which was an evening, kind of like a wine cruise, but it was really more about just talking about the buildings at the side of the river and other things like that. It was very enjoyable. Met some new people there too. And then gifts and cards. I did attend a Fête de National, or Bastille Day event at a woman's home, and I brought her some wine and cheese and a gift bag. So that is what that is from. In terms of miscellaneous, I have prepaid upfront for my American mailbox, which is through Postnet. So I don't have those costs here. I want to say it's about $12 a month. So once I'm at year one and these things get put into the right places, they'll start showing up. And then miscellaneous other. I did send back my birth certificate, my marriage certificate, and my divorce decree to the United States to get apostillated, which is a fancier form of certification. I may or may not need it, but I figured it was just safer to have that because if I do need it, it takes a lot of time. For example, I mailed these off on July 19th, and I still don't know if they've arrived yet. So I will be checking on that in the next couple of days. But that's about par on course for other things I've sent back to the United States at this point in time. And so where does that leave me? It leaves me with spending about 4,200 euros this month, or just shy of $5,000, which is far more than my Social Security income, as you can see here, of $2,784. However, I did budget and factor in for all those one-time expenses. I knew that as I was getting rid of things in the United States, I would have to repurchase things here in France. And of course, that's what I've done. So on a theoretical basis, if you take those out of my monthly budget, I could have had a potential savings of $49. So maybe moving ahead, I should be able to have a little bit of like maybe a 50 to 100 euro slush fund. I don't know if you can even call that little money a slush fund, but there's a little bit of some wiggle room there, and that's fantastic. We'll see, because again, I'm really not quite sure until I've been here probably 6 months what my hard costs will be, but that's pretty much it for the budget. I had intended on doing a banking video to explain to people about how I got my AXA International bank account, both a checking account and two savings accounts, a regular savings and a Livret A. And I also have my renter's insurance through them. And so there is a slight discount. I'm not quite sure what it is. I need to get online to their site and figure out how that gets factored in. But I know that there is a small discount for having both accounts with AXA. Now, AXA International Agence, or agency, is an online bank division for AXA. They do have branches in many cities. In fact, they have one or more here in Albi. But this is really more designed for people such as myself that need to have a French bank account. I want that for, of course, my second year residency, but also to pull my rent out of, to pull my utilities out of, to pull my mobile phone out of. It demonstrates to the French government that you're serious about being here, that you have a French bank account. And you can use virtually any bank, and even I found out you can use the grocery store ATM machines with no cost whatsoever to pull money out. Right now, I'm keeping most of my euros in Wise. I haven't moved them over to the AXA account yet. I want to get my rent and everything stabilized with one account before I move it to another bank. It just makes me nervous to think about what could go wrong, and I don't need anything to go wrong at this point because I'm still settling in. I will put all the details on how to contact AXA International Agence in the details. You can go straight to their website, which is axa.fr, and then search in the bar up at top for what you want, or there's an email address that you can contact them directly. Now, I have worked with a woman named Nicole Rodriguez, who's fantastic. I know they have a team that works with people, so you may or may not get her, but if you do, she's a wonderful and delightful person, and the process is very easy. Now, one caveat here about this bank account, I did have to have a lease that was going to be taking place. I got the bank account before I had moved into my home here, but I had the lease already. I also had the electricity set up, and I had already set up for the insurance through AXA. So they knew that I had the things that they are looking for to open a bank account for you. Now, this might not be the right kind of bank account for somebody that does need to have a local presence. I am not going to be purchasing property, so I don't need to have a local connection for that type of thing. The international online version of AXA is perfectly suitable for my needs. That might change in the future, and if it does, then I will make changes to it. But for right now, that's what I need. So hopefully that covers the banking information. And that said, it's the middle of the day, and I want to go and walk the doggos again and go outside and read. So I will wish you a bonjour, a bonsoir. Hope you are taking care of yourself. Hope you have a fantastic day or night. And I will see you again soon. Au revoir.